Okay, folks, good morning, and I got a little bit of news, and it's making the rounds a bit, and you can tell that people must be hard up for some news, any news, and clickbait, and all this other jazz, okay? First of all, there's this thing called a trade war going on, okay? And China is a huge, huge market, and a lot of companies want to do business there, and their style of government isn't the same as ours. Now, this is called politics, okay? I don't want this shit in my video games, okay? So when I saw some guys that do video game reviews and crap talking about this kid getting banned because he's going off at the mouth about some place called Hong Kong. First of all, take some context. And you got to go back to the last Chinese emperor, okay? Before World War II, okay? This clown, this asshat, okay, sold his own people out, all right? Was a degenerate little sick guy who would just murder his servants at a whim because he never left this imperial palace. He was so detached from reality, it's not funny. He's a sick puppy, okay? The Russians ended up getting him on war crimes after World War II and held on to him until the communists took power in China and then had him extradited back, and then you never heard of him again, okay? 3 years. Anyway, this degenerate also made a deal with Imperial China, who was attached to the Nazis, etc., and sold out Manchuria and allowed the Japanese to go wander in there and murder thousands of his own people, and he didn't even give a crap. Okay, this is the guy that made the deal with the Brits, okay, to rent Hong Kong, okay, for 100 years. Okay, and I'm going to just say this, okay? If you had a lease, let's say for your garage, okay? This is exactly what it's like. So you rent out the garage, and the lease is up, okay? All right. So you go to tell the other person to get the crap out of the garage, and time's up, blah blah. And they say, no, we're not doing this. And here's a few of my friends. We're gonna move. They're moving in to protest this, and they're paid. They're paid, okay, by the CIA to do this, okay, or whatever federal equivalent there is in your nation, okay. That's what it's like. And how do I know this as a fact? Okay, while the head guy for the protest was sitting at this airport saying what his demands were about this extradition and da 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 da. A week before that, okay, their government had completely dropped putting the law through. So the entire protest, and to boot, they're trying to protect a rapist. That's what it was about. The guy was a convicted rapist. The country wanted him back. Oh my lord, it's sick. Okay? I don't know about the rest of you, but when I see stuff like that, I begin shaking my head about who's protecting him. And look at this, a Democrat. Okay? Like really? More, and then with all the stuff in Ukraine and how the CIA is attached in itself into all this mess with Russiagate, Ukrainegate, or whatever you want to call it, okay? It's looking like there's a big chunk of the U.S. government that's gone rogue. I mean, completely rogue. And it needs to get itself reined in for the betterment of mankind, okay? I'm not American, so I can look at this from fresh eyes outside of all of it looking in on it, all right? Oh, and it's exactly, and if you don't like Trump, okay, and there's some people that don't, this is why you have Trump, okay? It's because of people in the Democrat Party that are like this. They're elitist. They run around as corrupt. They're funded in part or in whole by Hollywood, okay? And you give them all the copyright protection and laws. If you curtailed that in half, okay, These people would have no time to be corrupt. They'd be too busy doing, acting and everything else that they're supposed to be doing, rather than running around the world trying to corrupt everything and get a bribe somewhere just to get things going. And I saw the transcripts for that thing, and I'm just shaking my head at the Democrats on this. I'm like, I don't know why Trump isn't starting to have some of these people literally arrested for treason, okay? Because that's what it's amounting to. They're I mean, high treason is still an offense that is punishable by death in many nations, okay? Don't push it that far, okay? Oh, that A&W burger looks good. They make good burgers, by the way. My dad and I used to take me to places like that. They even have those up in Canada here. Subway, not so much. Anyway, let's see here. Let me interact with this. Will it let me do that? Hold on. Okay. So, the main thing here is that they banned a guy for politics. And if you ever go into a gamer Discord or TeamSpeak, or you're in a clan or a group, you know what one of the main rules is? No politics, no religion. You know why? Because everybody has a bit different view on politics and religion, and as soon as you start injecting it into the conversation, there's going to be an argument, and then someone's going to get butthurt, and this is where drama starts. And so when you remove this kind of crap from our video games, okay, and it's what SJWs do. So every single one of you that's involved in this, okay, is an SJW. I don't care. You're now one of them. All right, okay. And I got to start naming the channels that are doing this, because there's bias going on here. One guy about 4 videos ago comes out, and this is after a ton of anti-Epic Store stuff and anti-other video company stuff, okay? And he's building up a big channel too, right? He then comes out, yeah, we're developing a video game and it's going to be on Steam. Oh, so that's why you're pro Steam all the time. You never talk about anything bad going on at Steam. I see. So that's where he's no longer a reporter in my eyes, and a lot of people say the same thing. Okay, this is where the difference is. I have spoken up against Activision, EA. I've done these things. Okay, when they're bad, you say something. When they're good, the difference is I say the good things. Okay? While they were talking about this and misusing the terms of exclusivity, okay, I don't care as a PC user if I have to use a client to start the game. Okay? As long as I can buy the game and it runs on my PC. If it's on an Xbox, that's exclusive. And I was saying to somebody, I got to stop watching these guys that are on consoles, because I'm fueling views and watch time on people that I will never have those games, okay? And it's bad because it takes away the choice from the users, okay, of what they can do and what they can and can't do. Now, mind you, I got a lot of good guys that are console users, so that's not going to happen. Right? I'm going to watch their stuff because they watch my stuff. So it's like a trade, right? We kind of trade our watch times to each other, right? We find value in our content. The thing here is, when I'm playing Guild Wars 2, I don't run around in the game going on about politics and every little thing, because nobody will talk to you then. Nobody will want to be associated to you. You'll be by yourself in video games, okay? And people remember these things, okay? Hong Kong belongs to China, okay? The main business leader over there, okay, was seen with John Bolton taking briefcases, okay? What's in the briefcases, eh? Oh, maybe some cash that he's been spreading around to stir up shit because he just doesn't like something over there. You know what? If you don't like it, bud, and here's the kicker: the people that have money over there are now leaving. So Good one, protesters. Good one, all of you. You've just screwed a country. All right? You screwed yourselves for your future. All right? And the people that are leaving the country aren't the protesters. They're everyone else. That has jobs and does things and makes the economy over there work. Good one. Good one, America. That's how you do capitalism. Make everybody who's doing work and making money leave. And these ass hats. Oh my lord. Then anything to deflect the Joe Biden and Hunter Biden BS, eh? I mean, when I saw Joe Biden with Obama, that's when I knew that it wasn't change. And I coined the term immediately. This is back then when that first was the scene. Change in his pocket. All right. If any of you ever think Hollywood is a great place to be, I sat and watched. See, I watch a Spectrum too. I watched some of this Jimmy Dore thing, and this one guy who was he was a black fella, and he was sitting there on stage, and he says, if you want to get into Hollywood and do anything, you just have to be anti-Bernie. There's just no way about it. You won't get nowhere otherwise. Right? Now this Bernie guy, he's so detached from reality now. He's making comments, and he doesn't even realize that things have changed. The whole party needs to get destroyed. And Trump's just laughing his ass off. It's just fueling more power to him. It's almost like the people that are doing this actually like Trump and want him to stay in power. Seriously. And if things go sour and the trade war heats up in December here, you're going to see a lot of your tech get whacked. That's why I've been saving up to get that silly little graphics card. So once this happens, I'll be sitting here going, I don't care. It's all part of the, I'll be doing my own thing. And like I said, if you're so anti this company and that company, why aren't you supporting more guys like me? Okay? That would get that graphics card. See, I haven't asked anybody for any money, eh? Because I'm doing I'm not doing this for you or them or that. I'm doing it for me. They screwed my movies. They screwed up TV. Okay? All I have left is games. And then they start injecting all this SJW crap into the video games where, okay, I'll stop buying the video games. I'll make them myself, for myself. Okay? It's one of those things where I'm learning every aspect of it because I don't want to have to rely on anybody where I get disappointed. All right? This world is full of con artists and BSers and I wake up in the morning and I see crap like this again, and I'm getting sick of it. This is another one of those things where, you know what, I feel sorry for a country where, you're in a communist country and this is where you are, but you know what? That's where you are. Leave. I'm telling those people that are living there, don't protest. Get on, calm things down. Find a way to get the hell out of there. Okay? Do you think? And let me ask you this: if you're doing all this protesting and violence, do you think other nations want you to move to their country? That's the problem now. You're making it extremely hard for people to leave. Okay? You're putting a prison cell around yourself is what you're doing. And the Chinese are not going to put up with it any much longer, okay? And so anyway. So yeah, my graphics card is running a little bit cooler. I just wonder what maybe something was causing it to run hard. And I had the feeling that it was me trying out Destiny 2, and it was just that game is just so unoptimized. It's not funny. It's made for people that have high-end everything, and the rest of the people, the hell with you. And that's why it going free to play. It'll last for a while, and then it's going to die off. I mean, I don't see it going anywhere. People have Warframe, and it's far runs on far lower end hardware, and you can have so much more fun. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd put this out there just because, you know, it's to head off more of you trying to do the same thing and catch. It's like catching a wave of drama. Okay, don't need it. Okay. I unsubbed from this other guy too, and this is another shot at Google again. They keep sending these idiot people's pages at me, right? So I finally went there and I snapped at one of the guys, and it was what was it, Jim Sterling mouthing off about this. This is and that's another one about that guy. Okay, he's not such a nice guy that you all think either. Okay, he got involved with that Zoe Quinn. They did a Kickstarter, and then they ripped everyone off. She was sitting there and partying in Japan, and you know, like, oh my lord, like the whole scenario is just. This is why I just say it. As soon as you start yapping about politics in my video games, I get defensive about it, and I put the foot down. Okay? And they were all, there's like a whole thread of about 30 people going, yeah, there should be some people in all these Blizzard games going free Hong Kong. Go ahead, go buy the game and say that, get yourself freaking banned, and then try and do something about it, because guys like me are saying, I don't want politics in my video games, and the company's standing up for it. Yeah, that suddenly makes you look real shithead, doesn't it? Okay? You want to protest, go out in the street, you assholes. Sick and tired of this stuff. Anyway. Yeah, now that I'm awake and aware, time to go play an Activision game. And to give you an idea about why I'm a little defensive about Diablo, okay. I had a back injury in just prior to 9/11, and I was bedridden for 4 months. I had just bought this Diablo 2 with the Lord of Destruction expansion a week before I got hurt. So here I am laying in bed playing a video game, and it kept me sane. Okay, if I didn't have the video game, I wouldn't have had anything, and yeah. So there's therapeutic things about all this stuff, okay? And this is why I don't want SJW politics in my video games, and that includes your politics. I don't want to hear your conservative crap in my video games. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Leave that to the Steven Crowders and Jimmy Dores and all the rest of it, okay? You're going to do game reviewing, okay? Hong Kong has absolutely nothing to do with me playing a video game, okay? And you may have an opinion that's slightly different, etc., but I'm just going to say, I don't care. I don't want to hear it, all right? As far as I'm concerned, it's like Crimea. It belonged to the Russians before World War II, and you can trace back at certain points, even back to the 1300s. It was part of China or Russia for a time. They lost it in the war, and then they, eventually got it back. And before World War II, it was part of Russia. They made it part of Ukraine because logistically it made sense. Okay, and this whole coup in Ukraine was engineered by Americans and the CIA. All right? And you got to ask Obama, all right? Why was Biden over there? Okay? See, these people here, this guy here is trying to deflect from that story because they're getting a lot of heat about it, how corrupt the Democrats are. So why is the corrupt party suddenly want to attack Blizzard? For standing up and making it so when I go into my video game, I'm not listening to there's always going to be a protest somewhere then, right? Am I going to have to be inundated with this kind of BS everywhere? Like I said, I'll go make my own games, and then this guy, he can wear less of a nice suit because the tax money is going to dry up because more and more people will be doing what I do. Okay? We'll make video games for ourselves and not pay for them anymore. And these big, huge companies, they're little tax havens, and the scams are going to dry up, and these people are going to not be able to find their little corrupt money bags. Maybe that's a good thing. Keep it up then, you know. Anyhow, I'm putting this up there today, and, if you agree, get a like up. If you don't agree, put the like down. Either way, it gets traffic to the thing, but it will tell me, what percentage of you don't want this kind of stuff. Like, the other point to make is there are people who don't buy microtransactions that play a lot of these games that some of these hardcore whiners, as I'll call them, like to go on about. Okay? There are, and I gotta say, just play the games you enjoy. Let these other guys go off because it's too negative. Okay? I'm getting sick of the negative. It's constantly negative. Like, 2 times a day I'd be seeing this one particular person who was the Steam shill going on about different stuff. And I'm thinking, so what is your, you always talk about what's wrong, but you don't talk about any solutions that would fix it, number one. And number two, you're making a video game yourself, and so how are you going to make any money, right, when you're going to put it on a store where you're going to pay 30% versus 12%, or your own store where you pay 0%? Geez, what am I going to do? I'll make my own client for 0% and then tell everybody where the game is. Bang. Right? I mean, Epic will allow you to do that. You got to pay them 5% then. So it's actually, there is no 0%. It's 5%. All right? That's what I'm trying to say here, is that the lowest you can go with Unreal Engine is 5%. I forget what it is with Unity, but anyhow, that's what I'm trying to say here is you can save yourself, if you have a decent game, tons of cash by doing it yourself. The thing is, what these people are trying to say is they don't have the skills or the manpower or the brain cells to run a website and tell you where the video game is. They don't have the skills to do any marketing. That's what they're trying to tell you. They'd rather be lazy pricks and flip out some assets to you, do as little effort as possible, toss it up there, make a few grand, move on to the next game. That's Steam, okay? That's what I see all the time at Steam, okay? Out of the thousands upon thousands upon, there must be, 10, 20,000 games on Steam? There's maybe 10 games that I wouldn't mind. And all of them are overpriced. Okay? Total War Warhammer, $300. All the Paradox games are like that. Just insane. And then you get Civilization 6 that literally did put spyware into the software. And there were 30 other games on Steam that did that. No one was talking about that, but they were talking about it on Reddit that did a post. And there still is one game that still keeps it in. And about a month or two later, everyone's back to playing Civ 6, trusting them. I'm sorry, man. I just get sick and tired of it, man. Having to go these circles. Right? This is why I get into the game programming and game design and trying to play with the different aspects of things. And I was a little frustrated at some of the Blender people because things were taking too long. And now they're getting to the there's people talking about 2.81. Well, come on, Pablo. Slow down, brother. Okay? If you keep that up, you're gonna start seeing people drop off your software. Okay? There's just no choice. Right? And there's just gonna be a small group of you that's gonna go forever, and that'll be it. Okay? Another person will say, you know what, they're asshats, and we'll make this software, and we'll develop for 6 months, and then we stop for 6 months, and just keep doing that. Okay? You got to have time for all these other guys doing tutorials and things. Because, and I'll say this, okay? I'm not upgrading until I see a rigging tutorial. Okay? and you know, I talked to the guy that I kind of was cross with, and we had a good discussion about that. And I see things he does, right? And I throw ideas at him, and I know it's inspiring, and that's part of. I saw this physicist doing an interview with a guy that does stuff on AI stuff. He's out of the box on his own area when he's talking about that, but when you put people together and have conversations, okay, it can trip thoughts in your heads to make you think in ways you never thought of before, and that allows for new creation of ideas. Anyway, we'll leave it on that positive thought, okay? But yeah, just keep your damn politics out of my video games. You know, not everybody's American, and not everybody, you know, sees this, you know, the way you do, I guess, okay? It's unfortunate, okay? The cops, see, and here's the thing about these protesters. The cops didn't run in there and start beating protesters up. It's the other way around, in fact, okay? There's plenty of videos of these protesters attacking people and cops and destroying shops. Ask yourself, hey, why don't you immigrate to the United States and be part of it? What he's saying is, we'd like more of these people here to join our Antifa people. You know, do you want more of that? Seriously. They're just a bunch of criminals. Anyway, I'm going to sneeze. I'm allergic to politics. That's why I usually don't vote. Okay? Like even in the, we're having an election up here in Canada, and I see all these morons on stage the other night, and I don't want to vote for any of them. They're all idiots. They're all idiots. Each one of them has a major issue and a flaw with them that just makes me want to go, ugh. Okay? And if you think the Green Party lady's so great, remember, she was part of Brian Mulroney's Conservative Party. Okay? Right? That's the party that brought us free trade and all the BS that's gone with it. Okay? And some other positive news. Star Trek, the original TV series, is in the public domain right now. Okay? And it's looking increasingly like, while these crazy Democrats are trying this impeachment and whatever else, they're not going to sign the new free trade deal with the Americans, which means the old rules sit. Therefore, no new copyright law, no new, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? What does this mean? This means that if I wanted to do a Star Trek animated CGI whatever, I can do it. Okay? And I can base anything on the 2 or 3 seasons of Star Trek that they have there. Okay? And the way that the TV rules work, it's from the time of creation. Okay? So when the first episode is created, even before it airs, it's created on paper and whatever else, all right? Before it airs, like, you know, the whole thing is done and it's packaged. It hasn't been published. It's created. This also puts all the Lord, like some of the, like all the Lord of the Rings is now public domain. Okay, it keeps that way because even though the Silmarillion was created before the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, etc., it was never published until the way late in the 50s or something like that, way after his death, which makes it suspect too. Anyway, so you're gonna be seeing me do that stuff like that. But here's the kicker: because YouTube is an American company with American rules and American laws, you're not going to see that kind of stuff being done on YouTube. Okay? And so therefore, I'm looking for a Canadian alternative where then I could say, you can come here, and I wouldn't post a direct link that would show infringing stuff in your country, okay? Because it's 95 years, okay, plus the life of the author in the United States, okay? It's just 50 plain old years in Canada, all right? No life of author stuff, and it's from time of creation, all right? And if CBS wants to try me in court, I guarantee you, I'll own them, okay? Up here, all right? I know enough people online that once you start a fight with me on that, that'll be the end of you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to suck some quality people in on a project, and we'll have some fun with it, okay? We'll make actual Trek, okay? And here's a little kicker at the Orville. The Orville's going to Hulu. Well, you're done. You're done. I'm sorry. I mean, Disney just shoved you off public television. You're screwed. You're now. They say it saved the show or whatever. Well, for somebody, but you can. Whatever. Seth's got money to keep it going, and Disney won't. It's just. I guarantee you, because they have Star Wars, Orville will just die away. This is a way that they'll marginalize it. Anyway, so enough about all that. Back to games. I'm gonna go play some Diablo 3 and maybe some Guild Wars. I don't know. So do some different stuff. Anyway, have fun, everybody. So, right after having made the other video, here we have Epic Games going on about, I guess they want everybody to be yapping instead of about video games, their politics and religions and everything else in their video games. You see, there's a difference between, talking about this on a forum somewhere over to the right or left of you, okay, and playing a video game where I'm playing a game. I don't want to hear this kind of shit in my video games. I'm sorry, Epic. I'm sorry, Blizzard. I'm sorry to all of you. I don't want to hear it. Okay? And let me ask you guys something, okay? Let's just play pretend here that you're talking to a guy who at one point organized 150 hacker groups in 68 countries into an organization that existed for 20-something years. Ask yourself, would that have been possible had I said, I want to hear everybody's politics and religions constantly? How much infighting and bullshit and drama would have happened where I would have never been able to get anything freaking done? And that's the thing. I don't want to hear shit like that because the guy sitting next to me in the same religion will have a different view on religion. That's the problem. It's subjective in the extreme. Everybody has a different view. I don't want to hear this in my video games. This is why one of the reasons I don't play Fortnite, okay, is first of all, it's designed specifically for consoles. I don't care what you say. It's designed that way. Okay, number one. Number two, it looks like a 5-year-old video game where the graphics are just. It's one of the reasons I didn't play World of Warcraft. The graphics back then were just cheesy crap back then, right? And yeah, I mean, I don't mind a game that is fun to play. But here's another kicker, guys, and I want yous all to be. I want to be honest with yous, okay? I like all of you, all right? Don't get me wrong when I say this. Don't take it the wrong way. Consider constructive criticism of most of the gaming channels I see. Playing the same game, doing the same thing every day. One guy, I was telling him about, the 10 different types of games I play, and he says, oh, I go to work, I think, and I'm concentrating. I want to get off work, and I want to do some mindless first-person shooter fun, and I don't want to have to think. Well, that's fine. but it doesn't make the greatest content for YouTube. Seeing, and I say that I like to see people. You know what's more fun when I'm watching YouTube? The wrestling, um, Mortal Kombat kind of fun is kind of fun to watch. The car games, right? Flying games, things that are a little more interactive and you have more of an environment to see. Going around in a little circle with some guns, shooting this and the same map over and 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 over again gets bloody boring to watch. It's why your view counts start off nice and they drop. So I'm trying to educate some of you. I'm trying to help all of you, right? You know, I got so many things in real life that hinder me from doing things in this virtual world, okay? And that's part of the problem is I'm not rich either, I'm really not, okay? I can afford forever to be on YouTube, okay? That's not the problem. It's doing the fancy pants stuff that I like and enjoy doing, right? It's expensive to do, and Trump's going to make it more expensive in December if them and the Chinese don't sort their BS out. Okay, and it's more of the Americans just running around trying to control everybody, and we want to be number one and have all the money in the world. Screw everyone else. You're not allowed to make money. You're not unless we tell you you can. It's a bully mentality. I'm sorry, man. And the rest of the world, eventually China will pass you, America, and that day there's going to be a lot of people that you had tariffed and bullied and everything else that are just going to stand back up and go, You remember how that works? I mean, 7 people in this area where I live got stabbed in the last 2 months, okay? Think about that for a minute, all right? I mean, I was sitting there before this place opened for my breakfast, and some guy rides up on a bike, and he gets off the bike, and he's not looking directly at anybody. And he just starts saying, you're nobody, and I'm going to kill you. And I just turned around, and I looked at the other guy that was standing there with me, and is he looking in the shop? So I start walking towards him. I says, you talking to me? You talking to me? Gets on his bike and rides away. I mean, that same store, some kid tried to come in and rob it. Well, there were some biker associates that were inside, and he took a swing at me, and I walked him outside and put my fingers right in his nostrils and grabbed real hard and smacked his head right off the pavement. Then I turned around, went back in, and had my breakfast. Don't interrupt me. Leave me alone. Piss off. That's what I got to deal with. And then I got a roommate who screwed me around for 2 months rent, so I'm out $1,700. I got better things to worry about than some place in Hong Kong, okay, that belongs to somebody else. It's their property, okay? Hey, I have sympathy, you don't have China doesn't have the same civil rights as us, right? Well, don't worry. The corporations will get us to where you are, okay? It's moving that way, right? This political thing here from Epic is bad, right? So what I want to see is Bellar and Epic, Upper Echelon and all these game reviewers and Jim Sterling say, hey, Epic's great. Listen to this. They're going to allow political speech. Right? Well, hey, why not religion too? And let's have everybody just sitting in the chat rooms yelling and screaming and mouthing each other off about different views. This is what's going to happen, Epic. It's stupid. You should just put the foot down on it and say none. Okay? You want to have your political speech, take it outside of our video games. Okay? And whatever. You want to piss the Chinese off? That's fine too. I mean, it's not just that. So when I go into one of your video games, I can start talking about neo-Nazi stuff now because that's political speech. Now it's hate speech, and then you're going to have these little SJWs running in there, and then you're going to have that whole drama. It's a circle, right? I could just go in there, and I can just imagine how this is going to backfire badly. Okay, you won't see me in any chat room or any Epic game. Okay, I actually don't have any of them installed right now. I mean, they're going on about this chaos destruction engine for the Unreal Engine, uh, and then you have to go to GitHub and get the source code and have certain hardware in order to be able to use it. Yeah, that's gonna go over well. Sort that shit out, boys. Anyway. And I'm going to say this, guys, right? If you support them and everything else, do it, but do it in a proper forum where it's about politics, okay? Do it outside of my games. This is one of the reasons why I left them Comicsgate people behind, okay? They became the very SJWs that they're all yammering about, okay? Exactly. All right, you got that little, you know. I just look at that going, They got the same view counts as they did last year. In fact, some of them are even less. They're doing things, and one of the guys even has talked about how some of the comics that people have paid for haven't been delivered. Okay. Now think about that. Then you got a group of their own people. This so-called war campaign is just a bunch of wannabe hackers that are trying to dox people all the time, running around trying to act like they're tough. Well, if a few of them get doxed and somebody shows up at the door and punches them out, that's what happens. Okay. All right. You go around acting like that. All right. That's what's going to happen, and it's one of the reasons why that big 150 group, 150 hacker groups that worked with me to do things, okay, didn't get in trouble any. You didn't hear about us, okay? We were doing all kinds of things in the background having fun, okay? And that's the thing. How much fun do you think I'm going to have going into a bloody video game when all it is talk about this and that little problem in this little nation all over the freaking world? I go into the video game to escape this bullshit. Okay? I don't want it in my video games. I'm getting pissed off at hearing about all this shit. I don't care. Okay? All right? Solve your own problems in your own nations, okay? Every nation's got these problems, okay? Like, I mean, okay, I'll just start picking out Canadian problems and start going into these chats going off at the mouth all day. Why not? I mean, you're going to get people that will buy these games now just so that they can spout their political views. They'll be botted. This is going to work. This is going to be classic. Epic's going to be just... They'll be reversing this in about a couple of months when it gets pandemic. They'll probably do it in a way that's what they call it silent. It'll be like, go try this crap in Warframe. You get yourself automatically banned. Okay? Seriously, go ask the Warframe people what they think about you mouthing off about politics in their video game. You know, because they'd be sitting on stage, and probably every one of the persons that's on stage there that does their little dev streams has a slightly different view or a different view, And some of them may be different religions. Are we going to all suddenly just start yapping about it and having arguments, and nothing gets done? Nothing gets done when that shit starts. This is the beginning of an end for chat rooms, okay, in video games. And I'll say this, okay? I'm going to end up playing more Blizzard games, right, than I will Epic games because of it. Or I'll be turning chat features off. I mean, there is that potential, right? So there'll be less co-op stuff. Anyway, I'll put these two videos together and I'll upload them, and it's just epic. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to say that everyone should be able to say their piece, right? But not in your video game. Video games are about escaping that reality, okay? I don't want to go into my video game and sit there watching CNN either. But that's what you're trying to say, is that you're going to allow that kind of bullshit. I don't want to even listen to Fox or CNN or why don't you just tell Steven Crowder to move, and Jimmy Dore to be in every single video game, right? And before you play your video game, you have to listen to each of them for 10 minutes. See how many people buy your video games then? None. Zero. Okay? Zero. Being informed is not the same thing. Okay? Anyway. Have a good one, everyone.